Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sabariaz, PhD scholar from Department of Zoology, Government College University, Faisalabad. I warmly welcome all of you on the 7th International Conference on Applied Zoology 2024. I will be the moderator of the session, which will include talks from the field of fisheries, wildlife, nutrition, and ecology. First of all, I will start this session with the talk of our first speaker, Dr. Umarhan Durrani from Karadeniz Technical University, Turkey. He will be talking on do morphologically distinguishable stock of European anchovy and Mediterranean horse mackerel exist in the Marmara and Black Seas.
Hello, Salaam Alaikum. In this video presentations, I will briefly discuss how morphological markers can be used to identify different fish stocks. In addition to this, I will also discuss the findings of my two published articles where we have used these morphological markers to identify different stocks of European anchovies and horse mackerel in our Turkish marine waters. My name is Umar Khan, working at Karadeniz Technical University. Fish stocks are subpopulations within a species that cover a specific geographical area, separating them from neighboring subpopulations of the same species. Each subpopulations or fish stocks has consistent growth and mortality parameters that substantially differ from its sibling stocks. The idea of fish stocks is not a new one. This strategy has been applied by several developed countries, including Europe, USA, and New Zealand. For example, in European waters, there are more than 86 commercial fish species that, for the sake of better management, they are divided into 270 separate fish stocks. In addition to that, there is another example, a very good example from New Zealand, where there are 98 fish species that are commercial fish species that are divided into 642 separate stocks. So the fish stocks is the basic units of fisheries management. As much we know about our fish stocks, that much our fisheries management strategy will be successful. So here you can see the dots in different areas. These are the stocks that are identified, and now they are used in their fisheries management strategy by these countries. So there are different markers that can be used to identify fish stocks. For example, the one which I have been using for in my studies is morphological markers. Another one that is molecular genetics, and the best one is microchemical markers like otolith microchemistry. As you can see, each of the method has some limitations. But the biggest limitations of molecular genetics is that it is too expensive. It needs sophisticated laboratory facilities, and it takes hours to get the results. And compared to that, the morphological markers that can be used on a larger level, on commercial levels in the field. We can extract the otoliths and send them to the laboratory. In the next slide, I will explain that how it works. And we can easily, without the need for a sophisticated laboratory, we can easily identify that the fish which is harvested by a ship belongs to which stocks. Another one is microchemical markers, otolith microchemistry, that is used to just confirm the results of morphological markers in generally. But the limitation, one of the limitation is that it is time consuming, require expert knowledge, and also it needs a sophisticated laboratory. So I just want to explain that how genetics markers cannot be used at commercial levels. Along with that, how it gets failed to identify or to provide correct results. For example, here there is a fish spawning in our Sea of Marmara. It is just an example from mackerel, and it is also proof by the study. Like there is several studies that has proved that there are different spawning grounds of different commercial species, and the eggs of these species because of environmental factors, the impact of environmental factors force them to leave its spawning ground and to move to Black Sea. You can see, as I have tried to show them with red dots, some of them can move to the Black Sea in the eastern side, while others can move to the western side. In the same case, these eggs can move to the Aegean Sea and Mediterranean Sea. So in this way, all of these, there are different stocks. If we use morphological markers, and if we use or if we follow the definitions of fish stocks, each of these will probably have consistent growth rates and mortality parameters that will be different from its neighboring stocks. So if we use morphological markers or otolith microchemistry, it will confirm that there are different stocks, which is correct according to our definitions. But if we use genetics markers, molecular genetics marker, so these markers will show no, they are the same stocks belonging to a single stocks, and they cannot be differentiated into different stocks. The result is correct, but as I told, if we follow the definitions of fish stocks, on that definition it is completely wrong. So in this way, if we use genetics markers, it can give a wrong conclusion. So therefore, the best method for commercial to identify fish stocks at commercial level is morphological markers. So here I just try to elaborate that how morphological markers can be used. For example, there are two stocks, which is one is stock A, another is stock B, and they are harvested by commercial fish vessels. So in this way, we will take some of the samples from each of the commercial vessels and will send to the laboratory. In the laboratory, we can extract their otolith, which is our work of a technician even, and we'll photograph them and we'll compare its shape with our archive data. So when the archive data will say that the fish which is harvested by vessel A belongs to stock A or stock B. So in this way, very easily we can identify the fish stocks of our harvested fishes, and through this we can apply quota system, which is another topic and needs some more time. So within this 7 minutes or 10 minutes presentation, it is a little bit challenging to explain these topics. So here I am moving to briefly discuss that how stock identifications of Mediterranean horse mackerel done using the morphological markers. As you can see, we have sampled the fish from three regions. One is located in Trabzon, where my university also located, that we consider as a eastern Black Sea. Another is Sinop, which is considered as a middle Black Sea, and the one is Sea of Marmara. Along with that, there is one more sample that is taken from the western Black Sea, but I didn't include that in this article. So using these three sampling regions, we compare that are the Mediterranean horse mackerel found in these areas are the same stocks or different stocks. So in next, so These are the pictures taken during the laboratory work. It was the time of pandemic, and we were forced to work at home. So I changed my home kitchen to a fisheries lab. Thanks to my wife, she also cooperated in in that difficult time. So this study also have the fish body shape portion, but I'm not going to discuss that, and I will like you to have a look at my published articles to get more understanding of our findings. I'm also looking at the time, and it is 9 minutes so far. So I'm moving. So here, using the Fourier analysis of otolith shapes, now I am moving fastly to cover this within the provided time. Here you can see the first one was done to compare the otolith shapes of male and female, which didn't show significant differences. Another is comparing the otolith shape of left and right-sided otoliths, and again they were significantly similar. So I combined the data of these male and females and left and right-sided otoliths to determine to investigate the otolith shape differentiation among different sampling areas. And our findings showed that the fish samples taken from eastern Black Sea and middle Black Sea, they are comparatively similar, while these fish samples coming from the Sea of Marmara, they were considerably different. Though our findings show that all these areas have different stocks of horse mackerel. So for that, again, I will like you to have a look at my published articles. Another example is from identification of urban anchovy. Here again, you can see that the male and female and left and right-sided otolith shape didn't differ significantly. While when we have a look at the otolith shapes of different areas, so we can find that the otolith shapes of urban enjoy considerably differing among different sampling areas that prove that there are different stocks of urban enjoys. So these are the articles. One is published in Journal of Fish Biology, that is on urban enjoy, and another is on horse mackerel. I will like you to have a look on these two articles to get more knowledge about of this study. So these two studies prove that there are different stocks of urban enjoys and horse mackerel, and these stocks should be considered for the effective management of these pelagic fishes in the Black Sea and surrounding seas. So I'm very thankful to you for giving me the chance to briefly discuss my finding. Hopefully next time we will meet in person. Thank you so much. बहुत शुक्रिया.
Thank you so much, sir, for delivering your wonderful talk to our audience. Now, moving forward, I would like to invite Dr. Patricio Ardilos Rios Escalenta Kyle. He will present his work on the first observations of role of fish introduction and salinity as regulator of benthic macroinvertebrates in lower river basin, potential regulator of mosquito.
Hello, it is the presentation entitled Five Observations of Role of Fish Introduction and Salinity and Regulator of Benthic Macroinvertebrates in Lower River Basin, Antofagasta Region, Chile. Potential Regulator of Mosquito from Patricio Rios Escalante of the Catholic University of Temuco, Chile. This presentation is of the work of Christian Twemers, Carlos S., from Rodolfo Wilson, and Shaima Lavadla. and displayed are specified the respective affiliation address. As introduction, the inland waters of north of Chile are characterized by their moderate salinity due to high evaporation and arid climates due to Atacama Desert. These inland water bodies are habitats of high diversity of marine vertebrates such as insects, crustaceans, and with insects it includes diphtheria larvae that will propagate tropical disease. As control of mosquito were introduced Grambusia finis, an introduced fish from south of United States of America that is an active predator. One important inland water bodies in north of Chile is Loa River Basin, that is the longest river of Chile with 440 kilometers. And the basin of this river is in Antofagasta region in Atacama Desert, and in its middle and low zone has moderate salinity due to high evaporation and presence of tributary with moderate salinity. In the middle and low course of this river, there are mosquitoes that produce tropical disease, and for this region it was introduced Gambusia finis as a control measure. In this plate you can see at left in the top photograph of medium course of Lower River, and at left at low you can see the low course of Lower River, and at right you can see a map of location of Lower River Basin. The objective of this study was to analyze data of benthic vertebrates in different zones of Lower River Basin in the north of Chile and determine the potential role of Gambusia finis or salinity as a regulator of benthic macroinvertebrate community in terms of species richness. As material method, benthic macroinvertebrate and salinity of Lower River Basin were collected between 2022 and 2023. Insights were considered in groups with presence or absence with the Gambusia finis, and it was applied an experiment correlation test using software ERE. You can see in this table the sites, the location, salinity, species number, presence or absence of species, and the respective reference. In this map you can see one of the study sites is specifically medium course of Lower River, Coya South, Spa, and Posada Bridge. In this place, you can see a second map of other study sites that corresponding to Salado River and Lower River before confluence of Salado River, and Lower River in Calama in the course after the confluence of Salado River. In this place, you can see the map of other sites corresponding to Lower River Basin. It's corresponding to Caspana River, that is a tributary of Salado River, and simultaneously Salado River is tributary of Lower River. It is an upper zone of Lower River. You can see the maps and location of this study site. And finally, in this plate, you can see a map of estuary of Lower River. In red point are the study sites. It is in the low zone of the low course of Lower River. In this plate, you can see the result of correlation analysis between salinity and species richness or species number for total sites for sites with fish presence and sites without fishes. You can see that the correlation was not significantly in all groups in total site with fish presence and site without fishes. But in total fishes, although the correlation was not significantly, it is very close to reject zone. It is very close to be significant. A discussion, the exposed result also did not show the significant difference under Gambusia finis presence or absence and total, and inverse relation between salinity and species richness. This result was very similar for preliminary observations for inland waters of the north of Chile and Easter Island. What meant this? In inland waters of the north of Chile, with a Gambusia presence, and very similar to inland island waters, under Gambusia presence, the presence of macroinvertebrate was very low or practically null. A discussion in the presence of Gambusia finis that was introduced as biological control for tropical disease will be effective, but the risk of extinction of endemic species, because inside with presence of Gambusia finis was not report the presence of benthic macroinvertebrate, including endangered species. Then this meant that the role of biological control perhaps can be a prejudicial effect on ecosystem because Gambusia finis introduction generate extinction of endangered species. In example, northern Chilean river prawn in inland waters of the north of Chile, and in the central south of Chile, the presence of Gambusia finis will generate extinction of burrowing crayfish, Parastacus pugnax, or southern Chilean river crayfish, Samastacus spinifrons. I have information that in rivers and wetlands with Gambusia finis, it has not benthic macroinvertebrates. This study was financed by these projects and by this university, and the author expressed their gratitude to MI and ICAZ for their valuable suggestions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful talk. Now, I would like to invite Miss Mavish Siraj from University of Ponch, Rawalakot. She will present poultry production and role of extension services in Azad, Jammu and Kashmir.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, thank you the Applied Zoological Society of Pakistan and University of Sargodha to giving me opportunity to present my research work. I am Dr. Mehvi Siraj from Department of Agricultural Sciences, Allama Iqbal Open University, Islamabad. The topic of my research is poultry production and role of extension services in Azad, Jammu and Kashmir. Poultry production is well organized and one of the most vital sector of livestock. It contributes 1.4% in overall GDP of Pakistan, 26.8% into total meat production. It contributes 5.76% in agriculture, about 11.25 million table eggs and 1.24 million kilogram chicken meat has been produced every year in Pakistan. Backyard poultry. Birds have inside protection in houses at night, scavenging system with little additional things working as a supplement of food. Chicks obtained from this system is through natural hatching. Production of bird is not good as other means of commercial production. There are many characteristics of birds because in rural communities, first of all, eggs are a source of protein for care of sick person. People in rural areas invite important guests for meals, affordable to maintain a few flocks, and it is used in religious ceremonies as a present for relatives, economic and social status of women. So it can women can earn income through these birds, so they contribute in economic and social status of women. High mortality, low egg production, predators, and vaccine issues. The objectives of my study are to overview existing backyard poultry production system in district Poonch AJK, to study the various factors affecting income of backyard poultry farming, to assess the role of livestock extension department to promote backyard poultry farming, to suggest the policy guidelines for improving backyard poultry production system in AJK. Material and methods. I selected data from District Poonch of Azad, Jammu and Kashmir, and I selected uh, 5 union councils for this purpose: Abbaspur, Hazira, Rawalakot 1, Rawalakot 2. The total number of farmers that were rearing backyard poultry are 625. I chose sample size of 242 to Sekaran table. I collected primary data and secondary data. Primary data, I collected primary data through personal interview with farmers, and I used well-structured questionnaire, and secondary data from livestock extension department. Primary data include overview of existing backyard poultry, factors affecting income of backyard poultry, assessment of role of extension services, and secondary data include input of extension department to promote backyard poultry. And they have majority of the people have two types of birds, desi and asil. 71% of the respondents had desi type of birds, and 19% of respondents had both desi and asil. And majority of the respondents said that the purpose of keeping bird was egg production. And the farming system of the backyard poultry was mostly majority of the farmer using open farming system, and their cages was located under shade, under sun, and both under sun and shade. And a majority of the respondents, 66 was 61% of the respondents said that their cages were under shade. And when people were asked about the feed they were using, 70% of the respondents said that they were using handmade feed, and they were administered vaccines if required for the bird through dinking. And and they said that they had very hard to access to extension services, and the people they were source of information from the Department of Extension Services was the livestock attendant. Livestock attendant was a major source of information for the rural communities. And people were satisfied with the production of birds, and 91% of the people were satisfied, and 59% of the people said that almost 60% predators effect on poultry bird, and 76% of the respondent told that um, they don't have opportunity for receiving training from extension department regarding poultry rating. And factors affecting income of backyard poultry, they said this yes, training means a lot for them. If people were properly trained, they can get more income from the birds rearing, because they can produce high number of birds. 56% of the respondents told that they have problem because of lack of training, and 80% of the respondents were satisfied with the quality of birds they had. And mm, and when people were asked about they were satisfied with meat production of new bird, 72% were not satisfied, but 80% of the respondents were satisfied with the egg production of the new birds. And when they were asked about the role of livestock and dairy development department in introducing new breeds, they said that yes, um, they were introducing new breeds, and people were coming toward poultry rearing faster than the past due to livestock and development department, because of introduction of new breeds. And when people were asked about that, are there is any financial assistance from the livestock and dairy development department, and majority of the people replied that yes, there is also financial assistance from livestock and dairy development department. And uh, access to extension services, but 78.1% of the respondent replied that although LDD are providing opportunity, but for weekly or monthly basis, there is no access to extension services on monthly basis. Attending program arranged by the livestock and dairy development dairy authority for poultry keepers. 76% of the respondents said that they did not mm, get any training from the livestock and development department. Provision of vaccination scheduled to farmers by LDT, 40% of the respondents said yes, and 60% of the respondents that know about the provision of vaccination scheduled by the farmers by LDT. The conclusion of my research is that although backyard poultry is very important, it is nowadays we can say that it can also include in organic farming. But for poultry farmers were stumpy producers, backyard chickens were found to be the most communal poultry species reared all over the area. And majority of the farmers were rearing desi chicken for egg production, but they people don't have proper awareness about proper poultry housing, feeding, disease prevention, control, and improved breed of poultry. And they don't have proper assistance by the department and extension services for rural communities. Through my study, I recommended that for cumulative productivity of backyard poultry, provision of healthier and high-yielding varieties of desi bird should be presented. And there should be a universal training program advertised for the villagers or farming communities on rearing executive of poultry. Availability of farmers at reasonable price will have to increase the productivity of backyard poultry. There should be awareness about science of prevention and curative measures against disease, because they don't have any proper sense of prevention and curative measures against disease, and people are suffering a lot. This is the literature cited for my research. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Miss Mavish Siraj, for sharing your research work. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Aisha Khizar from University of Veterinary and Animal Sciences. She will be talking on the xylosaccharide supplementation in rice protein concentrate-based diets, a comprehensive analysis of performance and health of Labio rosita.
Dear participants and presenters, Assalamu alaikum. Hope that you are all in a state of good health. I am Dr. Aisha from Fisheries and Aquaculture Department, JUVAS. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee for giving the opportunity to present my topic at 7th International Conference for Applied Zoology 2024. The presentation title is Xylooligosaccharide Supplementation in Rice Protein Concentrate Based Diets, a comprehensive analysis of performance and health of Labiorhita fingerlings. In aquafeed, the aquafeed industry accounts for major part 30 to 70% of the total operational cost of the fish farm. The aquaculture industry heavily relies on fish meal as the main protein source. However, the limited supply and high cost of fish meal have compelled aquaculturists to investigate alternate protein sources to fulfill the increasing demand for fish feed. Plant protein sources such as rice protein concentrate have emerged as a promising contender due to their high protein and low lipid content, abundant availability, and cost effectiveness, making them an ideal substitute for fish meal. The plant protein sources are not well utilized in fish due to the presence of complex proteins, anti-nutritional factors, and certain amino acid deficiencies that adversely impact feed palatability, reduce digestibility, retard growth, and reduce fish immunity. Therefore, the dietary manipulations with natural additives such as prebiotics is considered the best approach to mitigate these effects in fish. The prebiotics like xylooligosaccharide is a promising contender due to their ability to promote growth, fish health, improve the antioxidant capacity in fish. The experimental fish species Labiorhita was used during the study as it is a popular farmed fish species abundantly cultured in countries like Asia, especially in Pakistan. It constitutes 4% of the major species in aquaculture and contributes to approximately 5.1% of the world's freshwater aquaculture production. Owing to its high demand, this species is cultured in intensive systems in Pakistan on formulated feeds, which usually contain a significant proportion of plant protein-based diets due to limited availability of fish meal. Therefore, the aim of this study, as we know, the rice is the major crop of most Asian countries and contain about 11% CP. Furthermore, polish of rice can be processed into RPC containing CP 70%. However, the use of high plant protein diet in the feed of this species inevitably leads to reduced growth performance and intestinal health. Therefore, it is quite urgent to find practical approaches to promote the plant protein utilization by this fish. The xylooligosaccharide have the ability to enhance the growth and intestinal health, presenting a viable solution to address this urgency. Therefore, in the experimental layout, the 8 experimental diets were formulated comprising of 2 RPC 75 and RPC 100 and 4 exhaust levels were used. The exhaust levels were presented in this table, in which two different levels of RPC 75 and 100% and different supplemental levels of exhaust like 0, 0.51 and 2% were supplemented, and also optimum level of phytase were determined for Labiorhita fingerlings, which was also used in the study, which is 874.19 FTU per kg. The diets were prepared in which all the ingredients were batched according to the formulation. The ingredients were ground and passed through 2 mm sieve. After grinding the ingredients were mixed with mineral mixture. After mixing the ingredients, the dough consistency was achieved by adding water, passed through a meat mincing to produce pellets, and the pellets were produced after a produced, the pellets were subjected to air drying and phytase 874.19 FTU per kg was sprayed on pellets. After making dilutions, again dry the pellets and stored in vacuum bags. In fish husbandry, the fingerlings were acclimatized for 15 days and fed with basal diet, control diet, and 25 fish were randomly stocked in each triplicate after acclimatization process. The fish were provided with the respective experimental diets to satiation 6 days a week for 8 weeks, and daily ration was divided into two and fed twice a day. Fish were weighed fortnightly for growth performance. Ration was adjusted according to weight, and feed intake was measured. During the trial, the physicochemical parameters were monitored constant. In studied parameters, the growth, performance, and biological indices were measured. The proximate analysis and digestive enzymes activity and serum biochemistry analysis were measured. The growth performance in terms of weight gain percent, specific growth rate, feed intake, feed conversion ratio, protein intake. While the biological indices in terms of patosomatic index and physiosomatic index were measured by were measured by from the weight and liver weight of liver and viscera. The proximate analysis in terms of moisture, crude protein, crude fat and crude ash was determined by following the standard protocol of AOAC 2006. The digestive enzymes activity was determined in terms of amylase, lipase and protease, while serum ALT, AST and ALP activity was measured by using KIT. The intestinal morphology was determined from the samples. The samples were dehydrated in a graded ethanol series, cleared in xylol, embedded in paraffin, cut transversely into sections by rotary microtomes, stained with hematoxylin, eosin before being cover slip for morphometric analysis. The plasma lipid profile in terms of triglyceride, low density lipoprotein, total cholesterol, high density lipoprotein were determined using the commercial kits. The plasma immune capacity was determined in terms of SOD, lysozyme activity, and MDA content. The SOD activity was measured by measuring the ability of inhibition of nitroglutatrazole. The lysozyme activity was assessed by the turbidimetric method. The MDA content was measured by colorimetric method. And the data were analyzed statistically using two-way ANOVA. SAS computer software was used for analyzing the data statistically. The growth performance showed significant results in diets comprising of RPC 75 and exos supplemental levels and 1% exos supplemental levels. Above this level, further increase in RPC level and exos supplemental levels showed significant decreased results. Moreover, the anatomical indices showed no significant difference among the treatments. The polynomial regression analysis on weight gain percent data showed that at 75% RPC replacement, the optimum exhaust level for Lebureita fingerlings was 1.24%, while at 100% RPC supplementation, the optimum exhaust level for Lebureita is 1.45%. On growth performance, the individual effect of RPC and exhaust showed significant results in terms of triglycerides, total cholesterol, and LDL, while non-significant other interactive effect. Meanwhile, the HDL showed no significant difference both at individual and their interactive effect. The analysis of plasma immune capacity showed no significant results in terms of SOD and MDA content. The amylase activity showed no significant difference among all the treatments. However, the fish-fed RPC diet with the exos showed significantly different results in the activities of lipase and protease, and maximum activity was observed at exos 1% at 75% RPC supplemented diets. In intestinal morphology, the intestinal morphology in terms of villi length, villi width, and muscular thickness showed significantly different results when fish fed with diets comprising of 75% RPC with 1% exos addition. In conclusion, the findings of the study indicated that supplementing RPC 75% with 1% exos efficiently substitute fish meal and serves as a proficient protein source, promoting growth, performance, and maintaining the health and productivity of Lebureita fingerlings, which makes it a promising solution for environmentally friendly, cost-effective, and health-conscious aquaculture practices. Furthermore, the polynomial regression analysis of weight gain percent also showed that 1.25% is the optimum of exhaust level required for maximum growth and intestinal health of Lebureita fingerlings at 75% RPC supplementary diets instead of 100% RPC supplementation, which showed better growth performance at 1.45% exhaust level. That's all about. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your informative talk. Now,
Hello, respected fellows. I hope am Maham Riaz and from the Department of Zoology, Wildlife and Fisheries, University of Agriculture, Faisalabad. First of all, I would like to thank to the Applied Zoological Society of Pakistan to give me the opportunity to present my research, the evaluation of the toxic effects of the benzophenone on the histopathology of the Labiorhita. As the title shows, evaluating the effects of the benzophenone. So the first question is, what is the benzophenone? The benzophenones are the organic ultraviolet filters that are widely used in the personal care products such as the cosmetics, sunscreens, and the aftershaves. Now the second question is how these contaminants enter into the environment to affect the aquatic organisms, particularly the fish. They are the two sources. First one is direct sources that include the industrial effluents, the waste runoff, and the swimming. And the second one is the indirect sources that include the wastewater treatment facilities. Now, how these contaminants affects the fish. Because the fish are the fish species are the excellent model for monitoring the presence of the contaminants in the aquatic environment. Because these species are susceptible to even the minor concentration of these kinds of the contaminants in the environment. So the how we can evaluate the stress of the fish. So for this purpose, we use the histopathological indicators. These indicators are widely used in the fish health research because they provide the accurate information on the chronic and the sublethal effects of the contaminants on the fish organs. So there are the on the health of the aquatic environment and ultimately on the mankind. Now the question is why I selected the Labiorhita as the test organism. As we know, the Pakistan is located in the South Asia, and this species is widely cultured in the South Asia, so it is easily available. And the second is this species, freshwater species, is important in the nutrient cycle and the trophic nutrition. By doing this, it plays an important role in the ecological balance of the aquatic environment. Now the next is what is the hypothesis of the my research. By considering the effects of the benzophenone on the other aquatic organisms and its toxicity for the fish, and considering that the fish are susceptible to the minor concentration of the contaminants, I make the hypothesis for my research that the benzophenone exposure cause the histopathological damage to the muscles and the gills of the labial heater. And now the question is why I use muscle and the gills as the organs, because these two organs are in the directly contact to the water as compared to the other organs. Before going to the methodology section, first of all, I would like to review the existing literature available on the toxic effects of the benzophenone on the aquatic organism, particularly fish. These literature prove that the benzophenone exposure is detrimental to the aquatic organism, and it showed that the BP exposure causes oxidative stress, neurotoxicity, apoptosis, cytotoxicity, genotoxicity, endocrine disruption, developmental toxicity, and the DNA damage to the fish. It also exerts the negative impact on the social behavior of the fish, metabolic stress, especially the lipid metabolism of the fish, and the cause alteration in the blood cells. The histopathological analysis such as the kidney, liver, skin, gills, and the reproductive. To perform my research, first I sourced the crystalline benzophenone and crushed it into the powder and dissolved in 0.1% dimethyl oxide, which is commonly known as DMSO solvent. Then I made the 100 mg per liter stock solution and stored it at the 20 degrees Celsius. Now the further dilution of the stock solution were the made to prepare the working solution according to the requirement. The Liburita fingerlings were the source from the local hatchery and they acclimatized for the 10 days in the cemented tanks containing the reconstituted tap water. I performed my research in the two phases. One is the acute phase and the second one is the chronic phase. So for the both phases, I made the four experimental groups: two for aquatic, two for the acute exposure and two for the chronic exposure. And in the each group, the three replicators were the used. Now in each replicate, the 10 fishes were the used, and each group contained the 30 fishes. So the total four groups contain the 120 fingerlings of the Labiorhita. The control group contained only the reconstituted water without the benzophenone. For the acute exposure, the concentration of the benzophenone they started from the 100 microgram per liter and gradually increased to the 1000 microgram per liter. And the time limit was the 96 hour. While chronic exposure, the time frame was the 35 days, and the concentration was the sublethal concentration of the LC50, which is the 122 microgram per liter. The physicochemical parameters of the water were maintained during the acute toxicity through the different analytical methods, as you can see here. And the dead fishes were removed after the 24 hours to prevent the contamination in the aquatic in the test environment. This picture clearly shows that the whole experimental design of this research in the acute exposure, the 100 to the 1000 microgram per liter of the concentration were the given to determine the 99, and in the chronic phase, the fish were exposed to the sublethal dose for the 35 days, and after that, the fish were the euthanized and dissected to isolate their gills and the muscles, and these organs were histologically examined. These tissues were preserved in the formalin embedded in the wax and stained with the hematoxylin and the erosin. And its morphological and these tissues were examined. 99 were determined by the probit analysis method. Using them, the lethal concentration were measured along with the 95% the confidence interval. This table clearly shows it LC50 95% confidence interval and the lethal concentration at its 95% confidence interval, chi-squared F value and the p value. The graph shows its increasing mortality of the Labiorhita during the acute exposure. These are the histopathological slides of the treated and the normal gills. The A is the slide of the normal gill, which clearly show the normal histopathology of the mucus cells and the pillar cells, while in the B we can see that the black arrow showing the intralaminar debris, and the other straw shows the cellular damage in the mucus and the pillar cell, which is confirming the toxic effects of the BP on the gills histology. Similar trends have been shown in the slides of the muscle histopathology, where the vascular necrosis, intralaminar debris, and the muscle have been found after the exposure to the benzophenone. So my research confirmed the hypothesis that the benzophenone exposure caused the toxic effects on the histopathology of the Labiorhita, and these results are consistent with the previous studies that demonstrated the toxic effects of the benzophenone on the fish and other aquatic organisms. The finding of my research also emphasized that by considering its increasing concentration in the aquatic environment, so there must be some regulation or regulatory control to ensure the safety of the water resources. But it has been noted that the international organizations, including the Environmental Protection Agency, have not established a specific permissible limit for the BPWV filter in the drinking water, which shows a huge vacuum in the regulatory framework for the specific chemicals. Thank you for your attention and listening me.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your informative talk. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Arsalan Riaz from University of Veterinary and Animal Sciences. He will present his research work, The Effect of a Dietary Short-Chain Fatty Acid, Sodium Acetate, on growth proximate, serum biochemistry, and enzyme activities of Labio rosita.
Professor of Biology, University of Chakwa. I say warm welcome to all participants in 7th International Conference on Applied Zoology 2024. And the topic that I'm going to discuss is about histopathology of heart and spleen as a result of chromium exposure in mice. The aim of study was to test the cardiac and splenic histopathology and microanatomical and morphometric changes at subtoxic chronic exposure in mice. And as you already know that chromium in our body increased risk of heart attack. Trivalent and hexavalent chromium cause a reduction of spleen in weight, splenocyte number, and percentage of blood lymphocytes. Chromium induces pronounced increase in the population of circulating RBCs or erythrocytes and also cause a reduction in the number of small lymphocytes. There is very little data available on the histopathology of chronic chromium exposure on the cardiac tissues. So only a few studies have initiated or indicated that the effect of chromium on spleen histopathology. With keeping these findings in the mind, present study was experimental design was consist of 4 groups. First group was used as a control group. Normal drinking water was provided for the 30 days, and group 2 was chromium 50 ppm. Here, chromium solution 50 ppm was provided to animals on oral route, and group 3 was chromium 100 ppm. Here, 100 ppm chromium solution was given to the animal by oral route, and last route was chromium 200 ppm. Here, 200 ppm chromium solution was provided to animal by oral route. And then after dissection, organs were recovered like heart and spleen. Histopathological observation at 400x was done. Entry was carried out. Then the obtained data was analyzed through statistical applications like ANOVA and Dunker's multiple range test using SPSS 13. Here are the results. Here you can see in the first section, the selected sections of spleen in control, 50 ppm, 100 ppm, and 200 ppm. Here, number of splenocytes like red pulp cell, white pulp cell, and splenic cord cells were very much reduced as compared to control, especially in 200 ppm. While in the second section, here you can see the fibers of heart are in control, and then in 50 ppm, 100 ppm, and 200 ppm. Here, cardiac fibers were too much thickened and damaged, and plates were severely damaged, and fibrotic mass was created in the 200 ppm and 100 ppm as compared to control. Table 1 shows us the morphometric data of spleen and the heart, where histometric parameters were measured like mean cross-sectional area of red pulp cell and mean cross-sectional area of white pulp cell, mean abundance, relative abundance of RBCs and WBCs in per unit area, and mean CSA of the cardiac fibers. The conclusion is that there is a clear impression of persistent low concentration 50 ppm chromium exposure in drinking water that can be dangerous to heart or myometrium, leading to the congestive heart problems, cardiac failures, bradycardia, along with many hematological implications. Thank you so much for your attention, and thank you so much for the listening.
Thank you so much, sir, for your interesting talk. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Savera Mukaddas from GCUF. She will present the recuperative effects of herbal feed supplemented in freshwater fish, hypothalamic hemolytics, improvement in physiology and histopathology against waterborne induced heavy metal toxicity.
Hi everyone, my name is Savera Mukaddas and I am MPhil scholar at Government College University, Faisalabad. And today I am honored to present my master's research titled Findings, Recuperative Effects of Herbal Feed Supplement in Freshwater Fish, Hypothalamic Mollutrics, Improvement in Physiology and Histopathology against Waterborne Induced Heavy Metal Toxicity. In this study, I focused on toxic effects of waterborne heavy metals, particularly lead, cadmium, chromium, and zinc. These metals are known for causing merit due to their well-documented antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. By monitoring changes in key physiological parameters and histopathological improvements, my research aimed to provide insights into potential of herbal remedies as a sustainable, eco-friendly solution for managing heavy metal pollution in aquatic environment. To deliver herbal supplements, I developed a canola meal-based feed for fish. Canola meal was selected for its high nutritional value, compatibility with freshwater fish diets. Ginger and turmeric were finely ground and mixed into the feed at specific concentration, ensuring a uniform blend. These herbal supplements were chosen for their ability to support antioxidant defense mechanism, particularly important in counteracting the oxidative stress that is caused by heavy metals toxicity. I choose hypothalamic growing and it has capacity for filtering phytoplankton that makes it essential for controlling algal bloom in freshwater system. Here is the methodology that I followed throughout my research study. The first one is maintaining experimental conditions. This experiment was conducted under controlled laboratory conditions, and during the acclimatization period, the water was maintained at optimal conditions. Stock solution of lead, cadmium, chromium, and zinc were prepared to stimulate heavy metals contamination. And the third step was feed formulation and administration. The herbal feed were provided to fish in experimental groups, while the control group received a standard diet without any herbal supplements. And the fourth step was fish sampling at regular intervals. The fish were sampled to evaluate their physiological and histopathological response. The fifth step in our methodology was the study of growth, and it was measured by tracking key growth indicators, inclusion for mitigating heavy metal toxicity in aquaculture. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss, for your interesting talk. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Farwa Batul from University of Agriculture, Faisalabad. She will present the microbial analysis of traditional salted fishes and farm-raised fish in district Faisalabad.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Farwa Batul from University of Agriculture, Faisalabad, Department of Zoology, Wildlife and Fisheries. In this 7th International Conference on Applied Zoology, I am presenting the abstract of my thesis that is about microbial analysis of traditional salted fish and farm-raised fish in district Faisalabad. My study is all about the microbial load in both conventionally salted fish and fish that is raised on farm, as fish's mouth and intestinal microbiota aid in effective digestion and nutrient absorption, which support the growth and development of the fish. These are very necessary for growth, and also these are important for health of fish. Traditional salted fish and fish bred on farms in Pakistan's district, specifically Faisalabad, underwent a thorough microbiological screening. While different aquaculture techniques are also used and different salting methods are also common in this area, but a systematic analysis of their microbial profiles has not been conducted yet. So for this purpose, I have conducted this research on both the fish and compare their results or analyze their microbiota. For this purpose, I have used nutrient agar medium and bacterial culturing procedures. For this purpose, the 15 samples of rohu, that is Labiorohita, were taken. The main purpose of the study was to evaluate the microbial populations in both the fish, that is salted or farm raised. And after performing all these experiments, we have find out that variations in microbial populations, and it provides insight into safety and quality of fish products in the vibrant fish industry of Faisalabad. By conducting all this research and analyzing data, we use different software to provide result. Minitab software was used to perform graphical analysis, and the findings showed that when we compared both the fish that is produced on farms and salted fish, we have find out that salted fish had a lower microbial count. So the findings show that the fresh fish skin of fresh fish and flesh contain greater microbes rather than salted, and fresh fish meat is more perishable than other protein foods, irrespective of the fat, that it is more prone to bacterial contamination as compared to the salted fish meat, which is fresh fish that is always preferable rather than salted fish meat. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much. It's all about my abstract.
Thank you, Ms. Parva Batul, for sharing your research work. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Ifra Shehzadi from University of Veterinary and Animal Sciences. She will present the evaluation of carbohydrate utilization and its protein sparing effects in the diets of cattle.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Ifra Shehzadi from Department of Fisheries and Aquaculture, University of Veterinary and Animal Sciences, Lahore. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee of ICAZ for providing me a platform to present my research work. My topic of discussion is evaluation of carbohydrate utilization and its protein-sparing effects in the diet of cattle. Introduction. Aquaculture has been expanding more quickly than any other significant sector of the food production industry, and for the progression of a sustainable aquaculture, fish nutrition is essential. Fish meal is traditionally used as protein source in fish feed, but there is currently a definite declining pattern in its incorporation in aquafeed due to its high demand and limited supply. As the recent studies showed that carbohydrate has the ability of protein sparing and it is inexpensive, so the incorporation of carbohydrate in the diet could promote retention of protein for tissue growth, decrease ammonia excretion, improve fish growth, and reduce cost of aquaculture. Statement of problem. Protein is the most expensive component of aquafeeds and is utilized in tissue synthesis, which leads to higher growth performance. But during high energy demand, proteins are utilized by fish as energy source, which not only increases the nitrogenous excretions but also increases the overall cost of aquaculture. Proteins can be spared by including other cheap energy sources such as carbohydrates. Utilizing carbohydrates to spare proteins will not only reduce the cost of aquaculture but also reduce the ammonia secretion. Objectives. To study the effect of carbohydrate, wheat flour, on growth and survival rate of cattle. To study the effect of wheat flour on proximate composition of cattle. To determine the impact of wheat flour on blood biochemistry and liver of cattle. Experimental site. This study was carried out at Fish Seed Rearing Unit, Department of Fisheries and Aquaculture, University of Veterinary and Animal Sciences, Lahore, Ravi Campus, C Block, Pattoke. Composition of experimental diets. Following ingredients. soybean meal, fish meal, sunflower meal, rapeseed meal, wheat flour, wheat bran, fish oil, vitamin premix, mineral mixture, choline chloride, monocalcium phosphate. Formulation of experimental diets. The ingredients were mixed and the pellets were formed. The pellets were shade dried and then were stored in self-sealed bags. Experimental layout. Fish husbandry. Fingerlings were acclimatized for 14 days. 20 fish were stocked in each replicate. Diet was fed to fish 2 times a day. Physiochemical parameters were kept constant and the experiment was continued for 60 days. Harvesting and sample collection. At the end of the trial, fish were starved for 24 hours and then were anesthetized with MS-222. Blood from the caudal vein of 5 fish were taken for plasma parameter analysis, and for the whole body composition 3 fish, and for muscle composition 5 fish were taken. Liver of 5 fish were extracted for liver function test. Analysis. Following analyses were performed in this study, including growth performance, biological and biometric indices, proximate analysis, blood biochemistry, and liver analysis. Statistical analysis. For statistical analysis, the results were subjected to one-way ANOVA and means were compared using Tukey's honestly significance difference test at p less than or equal to 0.05 using SPSS software. Results. Growth performance. Growth performance showed maximum results in terms of final body weight, weight gain percentage, SGR and PER at 26% carbohydrate level, that is D3, while the survival rate showed non-significant results. FCR also improved significantly when with increasing content of carbohydrate in diet up to 26%, and then a significant increase was observed. Biological and biometric indices. The highest value of viscoosmotic index was observed at 29% carbohydrate. The hepatosmotic index also showed significant results and has the highest value at 29% carbohydrate level. By inclusion of 26% carbohydrate in the diet, protein productive value, energy productive value, and lipid productive value significantly increased. After this, a significant decrease was observed in the group having 29% carbohydrate level. Proximate analysis of whole body. The results showed that the crude protein has the highest value at 26% carbohydrate level, while the fat content was increased significantly up to 29% carbohydrate level, having non-significant results at 20 and 23% carbohydrate level. The results showed that the ash and the moisture content showed non-significant results. Proximate analysis of muscle. The results were similar with the results of the proximate analysis of the whole body. Blood biochemistry. The plasma triglyceride increased significantly up to 29% carbohydrate level, that is D4. Values of cholesterol and low density lipoprotein cholesterol of 20%, 23%, and 26% were non-significant to each other. However, they were lower than 29% carbohydrate containing diet, that is D4. Liver analysis. Values of alkaline phosphorotransferase and alanine aminotransferase decreased significantly up to 26% carbohydrate level, that is D3, and then a significant increase was observed. Conclusion. In conclusion, the findings indicated that the incorporating up to 26% carbohydrates in the diet can effectively reduce the need for protein in cattle, leading to improved growth performance and enhanced enzymatic activity. This approach not only benefits the aqua feed industry by optimizing the feed efficiency, but also offers a cost-effective solution for the fish industry. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks a lot, Ifra Shehzadi. Here this session has ended. Now I would like to start our next session. Stay connected with us.